Get over here!
Alright, I got 20 seconds to find these guys.
Oh, man. Yeah, at least they're all close. If you can see 3 of them from where you start. And swing on the harp. Oh, behind the harp.
And there we go.
Wow, that was a quick mission.
Yeah, and that was also the final mission with Zeke.
Okay, so we're finishing up these missions.
Or can we?
What?
I thought that was 11 out of 11. Or are there more? How many of... Oh!
Well, if that's not the most Oscar wallpaper I've ever seen.
Oh, boy. Yeah, not gonna lie, it is. I wonder how many levels there are of these guys. Well, let's just keep on going. So, I'm the Green Scorpion.
I'm the ComicFoil.
And welcome to episode 21 of Let's Play Kirby's Epic Yarn. We're just gonna keep on playing with the neighbors for now. This honestly might be the last thing we do in this playthrough, just like finishing all the missions.
Do we have any more levels left?
No. We did all the levels last episode after we went through Meta Knight's ship.
I've been really unaware of what's actually happening in this entire playthrough. I'm usually just thinking about the questions.
But, yeah, no. For all intents and purposes, we're almost done with this. Like,
I love the sun flare done in yarn. That's so cool.
Right?
We are gonna get, I mean, there's Yoshi's Woolly World, but they're making another, like, material-based Yoshi game that's coming out for the Switch.
And you already played through Woolly World.
Yeah, it's a much older Let's Play from a few years ago, but I do have a full Yoshi's Woolly World playthrough on my channel.
So there's food for thought.
Speaking of food and thought, you ready for a question?
Yes, sir.
All right, this one comes from Victorino.
All right.
Who I recognize actually as somebody who signed up for my Darkest Dungeon Let's Play, which is also on my channel.
Oh, hey.
Who asks, if you guys were social links in the Persona series, what arcana do you think represents you?
I've had a discussion about this, not just with Allie, but with Tony as well, and I know exactly which one well, no. From what I've been told, I can represent 2 different arcanas based on what people have told me about myself.
Yeah, our friend Tony and also my fiance Allie both actually practice tarot reading, so...
Mm-hmm. So it's actually really interesting to look into. But for me personally, they've been bouncing around the idea of me representing either temperance, because of kind of like my they said it's kind of because of my rigid personality, sort of, kind of. But the one that I think Tony said that fits me best is the Wheel of Fortune.
Okay.
Wheel of Fortune is supposedly representative of someone who kind of takes things day by day, never knowing what's going to happen next, always like leaving some things to chance and like letting the pieces fall where they may. That's kind of me.
It's a representation of destiny, fate, chance, and positive change.
There you go. But yeah, like based on what those 2 and a few others have told me, I would be the Wheel of Fortune. And to take it one step further, and this is, yeah, Blood Ocean. This is something that this is something that kind of stemmed from. You remember the Shadow Challenge for Persona 5?
Yeah.
A lot of people did the whole, like, you know, shadow thing. I was going to do the Awakening Challenge, but I never got around to doing it, right? But, the Awakening Challenge involves, like, knowing what your persona, quote-unquote, would be. And a lot of people agree, and I actually got this from the Autarch of Flame. And, like, I mentioned it, and a lot of people agree with it. My persona would be Kenbei.
Which one is that?
Kenbei from Japanese mythology, the warrior of 1,000 swords.
Okay.
But, in reality, Kenbei is known for being a master of weapons. He has a spear, a hammer, a bow, a sword, a lance. He's basically he was the guardian of a bridge where he would challenge anyone who tried to cross the bridge, and he would use the weapons of those that he defeated. So that would be my persona, and as I said, my Arcana would probably be the Wheel of Fortune. What about you?
I have no idea who my persona would be. I'd have to look at a whole bunch of mythology.
I imagine it would be someone, like... I imagine it would be someone of great knowledge.
Yeah, that's what I want to think. Right now I'm struggling to think of any, like, mythical figures like that. Okay, off the top of my head, I would want my persona to be Tiresias.
Ooh!
Who is the blind prophet who gave advice both to Oedipus Rex and to Creon.
I like that.
But that's off the top of my head.
Yeah, Greek is your favorite mythology to study, right?
Yeah. I've been getting more into Norse, though, and into more other stuff. There's a podcast I listen to that has a lot of good mythology in it.
Which is what surprises some people, because, like, some people would think, like, hey, like, your favorite mythology is Norse. Why not pick a persona from Norse? And I'm like, I would agree with that, but I feel Kenbei from Japanese mythology fits me a little bit better.
But I definitely think my Arcana, if I was a social link, would be the Emperor.
Huh!
Now, I was just, while we were talking, I was wikiing it, and I didn't actually like the wiki description as much. But so maybe it's just the way that Allie does a lot of readings for me.
Yeah.
And the Emperor comes up a lot in my readings, and it's one that I kind of always like to see, because it can be... so the Emperor is kind of like an ultimate male authority or top of a hierarchy or something like that. And it's not so much that I like it in that way, but it can also represent stability and fatherhood and security and stuff like that. And that's...
I can totally see that with you.
And maybe it's because, you know, it's usually my fiance doing the reading for me, but that's like what I like to be in our relationship. And I mean, I'm getting married in May, and I'm thinking a lot about, you know, being married and having kids eventually. I recently became an uncle, and I'm like all about that. I'm thinking a lot about kids lately. So an Arcana that's like supposed to represent a paternal figure just makes me very happy.
That's actually really sweet.
Thank you.
Let's see. Yeah, no, I can totally see that, because if you ask me, like, of all the people in our friend group, I feel you're, like, one of the most level-headed, like, easily. And that
perhaps,
would,
yeah.
And that would totally put you in a, like, not so much a position of leadership as the Emperor would promote, but more a state of stability. Like, you're the kind of guy that I can see, like if there's, like, some discord within the group, which has happened in the past, you're always the guy that a lot of us come to whenever we need someone to talk to.
Yeah, I guess that is true.
That's the way I see it, because, like...
Yeah, like, I'm not trying to be, like, the group dad or anything like that.
You're not so much the group dad, you're kind of like the group counselor in a way.
Huh.
Or, like, kind of like the group No, you know what? The group wiseman, really.
Okay.
Because, again, you have that level-headed personality that not only, like, makes you... Again, I think it has something to do with the fact that you kind of are excited for the idea of, like, parenthood or something like that. But again, it also makes you the kind of guy that all of us can kind of just go to, and, like, we know we can confide in you for whatever we need.
Yeah, I mean, I like helping people.
Yeah, and then like, with the Wheel of Fortune for me, I'm the kind of guy who is like, hey, you guys want to do something? And, like, I'm the kind of guy who I feel people would like to come to whenever they just want to do stuff.
I think that's, like, the biggest difference between you and I, is that you're very adventurous, and I'm probably the least adventurous out of our friend group.
Not gonna lie, I can agree with that,
like,
yeah.
I like hanging out, but I like being home. I like being in a house.
I was actually having this conversation sort of with Patty a couple of days ago when we went snowboarding, because we were talking about, like, who in our friend group would be the most willing to go snowboarding with us, and we both kind of agreed that the person that would be least likely to come snowboarding with us is you.
That is definitely me. He knows it too, and he's made it clear that, like, I'm invited if I ever want to get into that, but I don't.
Which is not necessarily a bad thing, mind you.
I'm a super introvert. That doesn't mean I don't like being around people, but it does not when I get tired, I need to be alone. I don't draw energy from being around people.
Yeah, no, unlike myself, who thrives in the company of other individuals.
Yeah. So, I mean, Wheel of Fortune in that sense is especially really fitting for you, I think, because, you know, it's spinning the wheel. It's making something happen.
Oh, dear.
Oh, no.
That's okay. Beats don't necessarily matter in this case.
Yeah.
But I do need to... Oh, there you are.
Yeah, it's a lot easier when you have a conveyor belt.
Dang it. But yeah, for me, it would definitely be the Wheel of Fortune.
Alright, well that was a very existential question.
That was kind of cool, to be honest. I'm pretty sure a certain individual sitting next to us has learned quite a bit about us.
Who's sitting next to... Oh, hi, Amber! Oh my god! She's been here the whole time.
Yes. Actually, you know what? Let's flip the script. Let's add to the script a bit here, Amber.
let's put your girlfriend on the spot.
Yeah. What arcana would Amber be?
This is based off the tarot cards, right?
Yes.
I was actually looking it up on my computer.
While you were doing it?
Yeah, while you guys were talking about it, I think I might be close to the Hermit.
The Hermit, really?
Yeah.
That's one I think of a lot, too.
What exactly is representative of the Hermit? That's one of the ones I'm the least familiar with.
Well, kind of like what I was just saying, the Hermit, the Hermit's often seen with a lit lantern, and it's definitely somebody who draws a lot of their energy from within, and can, like, it's... A common misreading of the card is that the Hermit, like, doesn't like anybody or wants to be alone or something like that, but it's just that they can, like, accomplish a lot in solitude.
You know what? I can totally see that. Whenever Amber, like, that's the main difference between one of the main differences between Amber and I. Amber works best when she's alone to herself and kind of just getting in the zone, like, and as you said, drawing a lot of her ideas and a lot of her inspiration from within. Me, I thrive when I'm talking to people, when I'm, like, I'm one of those weirdos that works best when I'm distracted. Like, whether there's music playing or a video playing in the background or, like, a podcast going on or, like, you know, I'm having conversations with other people while I'm working on, like, videos or, like, you know, playing this game, mind you. I work best when I'm distracted.
Yeah, you do talk a lot.
Yes! Shut up!
That's right, though.
I know.
No, I think that's a good pick for you, Amber.
I agree, actually.
Because it says upright is like soul-searching, introspective, being alone, air guidance, and like reverse is isolation, loneliness, and withdrawal.
Okay.
Interesting.
Now, would you say that, like, the reverse sides are, like, things that you sometimes, like, have to deal with?
A little bit.
I mean, it doesn't have to mean that.
I mean, that makes sense. Actually, now that I think about it, what is the inverse of the Wheel of Fortune and the Emperor?
I have no idea. This isn't telling me right now.
It's on mine. It says upright, good luck, karma, life cycles, destiny, and a turning point. Reversed, bad luck, resistance to change, and breaking cycles.
For the Emperor?
No, for the Wheel of Fortune.
Say it again?
The reversed is bad luck, resistance to change, and breaking cycles.
Because I think the reversed usually is something that's, like, the opposite of you in that case. Like, the reverse of Wheel of Fortune would be, like, refusing to spin the wheel.
I can see that, actually. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
So maybe the reverse of a hermit is somebody who is alone but doesn't do well in that environment, I guess?
Or someone who doesn't take the opportunity to be alone and learn and thrive from it, maybe.
Oh. Well, that one little yarn person is going to be alone.
Apparently. But yeah, that was a very interesting conversation. I like that.
Huh, I like it. Tarot's neat. I'm talking out of my butt a little bit because I'm not really an expert, but Allie's more of an expert, and I learned a lot from her.
From my perspective, tarot is a lot like fortune telling, in my opinion, where it's not so much like predicting the future, but rather determining the future based on what you know about yourself.
Yeah.
So making your future more, as it were.
Yeah, you're supposed to get the cards and use them as a conduit to start thinking about things in your life.
And in that regard, I think tarot's really neat. Because again, like, I remember seeing this conversation once about like fortune telling and like it was a conversation in Fire Emblem actually, like one of the kind of sort of no, you know what it was? It was the conversation between Muriel and Virion, where Virion would do these like palm readings and like Muriel would be like, "Oh my god, this actually happened." But Virion later on reveals that it was less he was predicting the future and more giving a vague explanation of what could be.
Yeah.
And a lot of it is determined based on how you behave in response to what is being told.
Like, the legit fortune tellers aren't trying to literally tell the future. They're just trying to get you to be introspective.
Yeah, like, maybe influence the future by making you think about it.
Yeah.
But not so much them influencing your future, but giving you the tools to influence your own future by giving you some insight.
Yeah, it's a mirror.
Which I kind of like, really. It's kind of like therapy in a way.
Yeah. It's a lot like it.
Yeah. Alright, so, after that insightful conversation, let's move on.
Okay,
Was that the first question of the episode?
Yes.
That was 17 minutes of just talking about that, dude.
And we usually are so good at saying things briefly and concisely. This next question comes from
Fair play.
Gamer Argus,
Alright.
who wants to know, is there a Pokemon most people don't like that you feel is underrated?
Far-fetched.
Yeah?
Not so much because I think it's a good Pokemon, but because I see a lot of potential in Farfetch'd that makes me like it.
Have we talked about our Mega Farfetch'd idea on this channel at all?
I don't remember if we did, but that pretty much sums it up. I want a Mega Farfetch'd where... Oh, I have 10 seconds on this one. Or 15 seconds.
Oh, and they're being all, like, whack-a-mole about it.
Which is fitting because we're in a mole-like level.
Oh, yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, this is where we get the mole tank.
Oh.
Yeah, no, like ComicFoil and I came up with an idea for Farfetch where, like, Mega Farfetch would be this samurai style of Farfetch where, like, the 3 feathers on his head would grow back to make, like, either a, like, samurai ponytail or, like, that long samurai hair style kind of thing.
Yeah,
and his leek would become a sword, like a blade.
Yeah, he would, like, pull the darker green part out, and that would be the blade, and the other part would be the sheath.
Exactly. Like, I imagine it would be fighting, or not flying steel.
Yeah.
Like, that would be sick. Aside from that, there's not a lot of Pokemon out there that I generally have an oppositional opinion about. At least in regards to everyone else. Like...
I like Dunsparce, actually. Which, again, it's not good, but I just, like... I appreciate the cultural reference, and it's just kind of like this rare, stupid thing, and it makes me smile.
I don't know, like, for some reason, just, like, I don't dislike, Dunsparce, but I don't really care for it either.
I think people overly hate, Garbodor and Vanillux, but I don't particularly like them either. But I don't hate them like a lot of people do.
I'm not a fan of them, but... they're Pokemon. I've seen weirder. I guess another part of it is because, what's another Pokemon that I can think of that kind of fits the bill?
I'm trying to think of unpopular Pokemon right now, and most of them I'm like, yeah, that one, like the whole Burmy line, like, yeah, I don't care for them.
Burmy's not that great.
Finian and Luminian, like...
I don't hate Finian and Luminian, but... They're pretty darn bland.
A lot of people give Gen 5 crap for introducing, like, lame new Pokemon, but I think Gen 4 is the king of introducing lame new Pokemon.
Example?
Finian and Luminian are Gen 4, Cherubi is Gen 4, Glameow and Purugly,
I actually kind of like Purugly.
Burmy and that whole set. Combi and Vespiquen, like, could have been a lot cooler, but they're not. Bidoof, who a lot of people hate. I freaking love Bidoof, but
There's one of them.
I don't care for Bibarel as much.
Bidoof is doofy, I guess.
Yeah.
B-Barrel, yeah. Like, really, the only reason people use B-Barrel and Bidoof are as, like, HM slaves.
And I like Gen 4 too, but when I think of a lot of Pokemon I don't really care for, a lot of them come from Gen 4.
Interesting. Yeah. I think Farfetch is the only one that I can legitimately say I actually like. If only because I see a lot of hidden potential there, and I'm just waiting for Pokemon to really take advantage of that.
Maractus is another one where I think there's like a lot you could have done with it, but they just didn't.
I can see that.
Or Kamala from Gen 7. I'm really disappointed that there's not an evolution to Kamala.
Yeah, kinda.
Because that's such a neat concept, is that it's a Pokemon that you want to have asleep. But they just, I don't know. It needed a stronger evolution to bring it all together.
Okay, looks like there are 18, and we did all of Zeke's.
All right, Zeke complete.
All right then. Aside from that, like, yeah, no, Gen 7 had a lot of Pokemon that you would think would be stupid, but there's something about them that, like, just is charming. For example, Pyukumuku is, like, useless. Competitively or, like, in regards to any battling, but there's just something about Pyukumuku that you just kind of like.
Yeah, you need Pokemon like that are just, like, standalone, like, dumb things that are around, but they're kind of rare, and they're just there to fill in the Pokedex. But you need stuff like that. Like,
exactly,
but there's a way... Dunsparces, and you need the...
Yeah, but there's a way to do that without making the Pokemon useless, like, say, Luvdisc. Like, the thing is, Luvdisc had a purpose before, and then... Oh, snap, this is cool.
It's a whale.
Yeah, so Beedrix is all about collecting beads, so this is going to be a little less focus-heavy than, say, Zeke. So yeah, my answer, far-fetched. Next question.
This one's going to come from Sam and Mr. Cheese.
All right.
All the words were together, so I had to figure out what the words were. Have you ever considered doing a countdown involving Cuphead?
Yes. As a matter of fact, I was kind of planning a Let's Play of Cuphead, but I just never got around to it. But yeah, no, I actually wouldn't mind counting down the bosses of Cuphead. I'm not going to do it here. But no, like... Cuphead had a lot of really, really cool designs in terms of their bosses, not just in terms of, like, gameplay and difficulty, but also in design and concept, really. Like, it was actually really cool seeing some of these bosses and basically, like, I guess I can name a couple of the ones that I consider, like, favorites of mine. Kala Maria is, definitely comes to mind. I think I kind of messed this up. I think I was supposed to go in a certain direction. Yeah, I'm gonna restart this one. Another one that I actually really like, I know plenty of people like, what's his name? The Flower.
Oh, yeah. I
don't remember his name.
I don't know most of their names.
But a lot of people really like him, for, like, the music mainly, and his boss fight is actually very simple, compared to, oh, I see what I gotta do.
So what was that we were saying about not having to focus as much? Oh no!
Well, I guess not. But
you know what you're doing now.
Mm-hmm. I wouldn't say he would be #1 in my countdown, but currently, my favorite boss fight in the game, believe it or not, is King Dice. Like, I really, really like that fight a lot, because of the theming, because of the music, and holy crap, that challenge. I think the only thing detrimental to King Dice is the fact that there's a potential that you would have to start the entire fight over again because of that one dice roll. Goodness. Yeah, his boss fight involves a little bit of luck, and that can be a little bit aggravating, depending on how you're doing.
My favorite what I think I'm getting her name right. My favorite was Sally Stageplay.
Ooh, yeah, that was a very creative one.
I just like it because it's a theater-based.
That's a thespian fan service.
Yeah,
type
that's
of thing.
right up my proverbial alley.
I can definitely see that. But yeah, no. Maybe one day I'll rank the bosses of Cuphead, but I'd also like to see where the developers go later on, because something tells me that they're going to move on to bigger and better things after the success of Cuphead.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to seeing what they do, because these were just two guys, man.
We do have
two guys with a family team.
We do have a DLC coming.
Yes. The Chalice Girl.
Yeah.
I'm not sure entirely what it's going to be, but I'm looking forward to it.
Alright, well, I can move on to another question if you're ready.
Alright, let's do one more.
Okay, this one comes from Evan Artist. It is a Fire Emblem question. Dun dun dun.
Oh boy.
Which Avatar child unit do you prefer? Morgan or Kana?
Easy. Morgan. Without question.
Neither of them did I ever really use, but I guess I would say Morgan.
The reason I really like Morgan, here we go, is because besides the adorable factor, like, Kana's adorable too, but whoa, that was some slowdown there.
Yeah, we lost some frames.
Kana's adorable too, but I can't, like, the reason I feel something for Kana is not because of is not out of admiration, but it's kind of sorta out of pity.
It comes back to hating Corrin.
Unfortunately. And
every time I think of Kana, all I can think of is that Corrin left them alone in a deep realm forever, just like Corrin was left alone in a castle, and just, like, what a terrible parent you would have to be to do that.
And yeah, and Morgan, like, it's clear that both Kana and Morgan absolutely admire their mom or dad, depending on which avatar you pick.
Yeah.
But the admiration between Morgan towards Robin, I feel, is much more genuine and makes so much more sense than Kana to Corrin. And in general, Morgan was just a better unit.
Morgan
Like,
is one of the most...
oh my god!
You get a lot of control over Morgan.
So much with Morgan!
Because potentially, since the Avatar, we'll call them Robin, since Robin can be married to anybody, including children units, like second generation units, you could make your perfect second generation unit, then marry Robin to them to get, like, a perfect Morgan.
Basically, like, okay, there was that one level with Priam, right?
Yeah.
That's arguably the hardest level in the entire game. I beat it solely because of Morgan.
Yeah, Morgan can do, like, anything.
Like, Morgan is the character, like...
Their ultimate potential.
Like, Robin has the potential to pretty much be able to do anything in that game as well. But Morgan, even more so.
Yeah.
Like, you want her to specialize in magic and mobility? Make her a Dark Flyer. Do you need her to be tanky? Make her a knight. Heck, she can be tanky as a freaking sword master.
Yep.
She becomes such a dodge tank. It's insane. And generally, like, this also harkens back to Fire Emblem Heroes also. Morgan's design is just so much better.
Morgan's so good that I just kind of felt bad using them, so I didn't.
See, I didn't. I loved using Morgan, and in Fire Emblem Heroes, male Morgan, again, like, very genuine, very respectable. I love his dialogue. I love his voice. He is a very useful unit. Femme Morgan. They made her a Dark Flyer, and not only is she adorable, hot damn, she's useful.
Yeah, I really like her in Heroes.
Like, fantastic. It's not that I generally dislike Kana. Like, I like Kana more than I like Morgan, I'll say that much. But again, a lot of what I feel for Kana is more out of pity than any general admiration. And unfortunately, Morgan, combined with the fact that she has such a good relationship with Robin, as well as the sibling units, like, her conversations with Lucina, if you actually marry Chrom and Robin, adorable. Absolutely adorable. And, yeah, it's just... Morgan's just good. Morgan's just great. So,
yeah.
Yeah. That's my general consensus on it. So, yeah, Morgan over Kana.
Unsurprisingly, Oscar picks the one that's not from Fates, but so do I, so...
I mean, I'm not gonna get into that again.
There's a lot of children units in Fates I really like, though.
Midori.
Yeah.
Midori.
Midori's maybe one of my favorite characters in all of Fire Emblem.
I know, right? She's so adorable. But anyway, let's not get into that again. Thank you guys for joining us for this episode of Let's Play Kirby's Epic Yarn. I'm the Green Scorpion.
I'm the ComicFoil.
And in the next episode, we're probably going to be basically just conversing a lot more about pretty much whatever as we finish off these neighbors. Maybe I'll take the time to go ahead and get the rest of the treasures that we're missing in the main levels. But we'll see. But yeah, we're getting to the end stretch of this game overall. Like,
yeah.
Once we're done here and once we get all the furniture, that's pretty much it. That's all, we'll have done pretty much everything we can do in this game.
We've reached the end of our rope.
We are still brainstorming on what games we would like to play for our next Q&A Let's Play. So we'll see where we get to on that one.
So, would you say that next episode is possibly the last one for Epic Yarn?
I predict at least 2 more. It took us a whole episode just to get through Zeke and it took us 2 episodes. Like, granted, we did the last couple of episodes that were left in the game last episode.
Yeah.
But it took us this long just to get through Zeke and Beatrix. I imagine we're gonna have at least 2 more episodes getting through Carrie, Buster, and Mara.
Okay, so 1 more episode and then the last strand. It was forced, I admit. What did you do to my remote?
Oh dear. I think I may have knocked the batteries out of place.
We're back. We're fine.
Sorry. I probably shouldn't have done that. I did that without thinking.
I had it coming.